Hey guys, here is Dr. Ray to help you with some tips of how to live a better life, a healthier life, a prettier life. I want to talk a little bit today about sleep. I don't know why sleep is hidden in so much myth. It's very interesting that as a doctor, as a surgeon, some parts of the body have lots and lots of leeways. Look how many extra flexor tendons we have in our hands. Look how many extensor tendons we have. We have way more brain. We have 800 muscles, many of them redundant. Look how many brain cells you have. I used the example of the brain. You can actually do a frontal lobotomy. They used to do frontal lobotomies through the roof of your eye socket, just with a knife go like that. Person loses a little bit of the ability to crack jokes. Person loses a little bit of the ability to, thought process. However, they're basically okay. They're functional. But there are things in nature, there are things in the human body which have extremely tiny room for error, buffer. And one of them is sleep. Let me set it in the most common of wording. I like to use lay terms because I'm trying to impart to all levels of society, to the entire spectrum of our population, these very simple hints from medicine. Sleep. Less than 7 hours of sleep, you're going to damage your body in ways which I'm going to explain. Greater than 8.5 hours of sleep, you will damage your body. So sleep is very exact. Not only that, when you sleep is very important as well. Let's get out of the way the opposite side of sleep, sleeping too much. Very simply, you're going to age, you're going to gain weight. Very simply. But I'm most concerned in this all too agitated 21st century that we are chronically exhausted. We're chronically exhausted. So let's pick the least harmful, shall we, of the side effects of not sleeping 7 hours. We need from 6 to 7 hours, period. Okay? And the person that shows up, oh, I'm very successful, I sleep 4 hours a night, that person is going to pay a great price. Price number one. Most likely going to be a very irritable person. Most likely is going to be a depressed person. Most likely it's going to be a sad person. It's going to be a person that cannot concentrate. It's a person who's going to age rapidly. It's a person that is dangerous. I'll explain why the dangerous part. Sleep is so important to the human body that the body at some point forces you to sleep. It becomes an urgent matter because your body rebuilds all systems during the night. Your body does not sleep. Only your mind sleeps. But your body does not sleep. So it needs this opportunity. It can't have blood diverted to your legs, diverted to your stomach, diverted to your eyes. It needs to concentrate on the parts that it's repairing. Okay? And when you don't sleep those 6 to 7 hours, the body starts to develop an urgency, and then it becomes an emergency, and you're just going to fall asleep. Let me explain, for those of you who have an interest in science, the physiology of it. Neurons are the longest cells in the body. You can have a neuron that goes from your head to your spine, from your spine to your feet. They're very long cells, albeit very thin. They're very long cells. There are little bodies inside of it, literally little dark bodies. They're called Nissl bodies. N-I-S-S-L. N-I-S-S-L. Nissl bodies. The more exhausted you are, the greater the buildup of these little Nissl bodies. You guys, you won't believe this. It's almost identical to what happens when you're drunk. If you look at the two neurons side to side, they're almost identical. You know that. Look at those times you've been absolutely exhausted. How you couldn't walk a straight line. How you literally, your speech slurred. How you would catch yourself falling asleep for a fraction of a second. So I understand why the police is more and more vigilant about people who are sleep deprived on the roads. You are literally drunk. You are literally drunk in exhaustion, okay? I want to hit on that point a little bit more. The urgency, the body, it's so important to the body to restore itself. that the body actually shuts you off. That's the scary part. So at first, it's a fraction of a second. Think about that. Wild weekend you had in college and that Monday morning 7 o'clock class, how you literally just do this. You do this, the head bobbing. You do this. So that's a fraction of a second. From that, it escalates to a couple of seconds. All of us, or most of us, been on Highway 15, headed to Las Vegas. A very boring highway with nothing on both sides, very plain on both sides. And you nodded off. That highway is full of crosses all the way to Las Vegas. Ching, guess what? So you've been driving, you don't want to admit to anyone, but you've been driving before when you literally fell asleep for a couple of seconds. And you start to hit the little medium bumps and you wake up. Why do you think they put the medium bumps there? So you guys, the body will shut you off. Now think about this. What if you are a pilot, a surgeon? What if you deal with heavy equipment or delicate equipment? So you have to stop this myth of getting points, who sleeps less. Very dangerous society, very dangerous for your health. I want to talk a little bit about aging. So if accidents don't bother you, God forbid, if mental illness doesn't bother you, if inability to remember things doesn't bother you, well, think about this. You will age much, much more rapidly. I want to talk a little bit about what happens. I'll finish with this. I want to talk a little bit about circadian rhythms. So there are times of the day when your hormones are excreted. And there is almost a sinusoidal pattern to it. The peak of which is at about 9 o'clock, okay? One of the peaks. So, actually the good books are correct. Whether you are Muslim or you are Jewish or you are Christian, or many of the good books talk about going to bed early. Almost all of them. As a matter of fact, none of a sacred writ that I like to read widely. None of the sacred writ I have ever read talks about going to bed late. They all emphasize going to bed early. That's very intelligent. How interesting that sometimes sacred writ, sometimes, no, most of the time, and science are parallel. So let me break it down very simply, a little rule for you. Let's say you're in college and you have an exam tomorrow morning, okay? You have a lot of material to cover and you're a little bit desperate. It is far better to go to bed at 9, sleep from 9 to 12, get up at 12 and study till your class at 7 o'clock in the morning. Far better than studying till 2, getting up at 6 and going to class at 7. So remember this. From midnight on, you're going to rest, but you will age. From 9 to 12, you're going to rest, and you won't age. So, you guys, you've taken care of everyone. You've worried about everyone. This year, I want you to take care of yourself. So, because Dr. Rey loves you, and our time has come. So take care of your health. Over and out, Dr. Rey, the King of Health and the King of Beauty.